Baseplan Presents video features how to upsell associated products when creating a rental contract, focusing on the following areas: explaining the definition of an associated item, how to view associated items when creating a rental contract, how to view associated items in the rental search screen, different types of associated items and how to set them up.
Okay, so I'm currently logged into Baseplan Enterprise, and what we want to talk about today is how we can actually use a function within Baseplan called associated items. So we have a concept in Baseplan where we have rental packages, which basically groups items together. But we also have another thing called the associated items, which is really about upselling or recommending to the person that's creating the rental contract or quote potentially, did you also want to put this item out on rent, or did you want to ask the customer if they also need this particular item with the rental as well? So I've got a couple of items set up here that we can go through as an example. But what I want to do is I want to start off by actually creating a rental contract and showing you what the end result is, and then I can show you how you can actually configure it against different combinations of equipment. So I'm just going to start off with a brand new contract, going through the rental wizard. And we'll create one for Valaris Construction, this particular site, and let's choose Chris Nagy as our contact, and our site contact can be George, for instance. So I'm just going to keep it as a one-day rental and just hit OK. Now this is going to then ask me what pieces of equipment did I want to put on the rental contract, and this is really the key area because you can see on the bottom here. We've got all these different groups, but you've got associated items, which is blacked out at the moment. So if I typed in here, for instance, excavator, you can see here, just because I typed in excavator as my equipment type, it's given me a list of associated items that I might also want to put onto the rental contract. And these can be additional rental items, or they can also be sale items or inventory items as well. Now I can go through here and select my serialized item if I want, and it still keeps it giving me that same list, or I can delete my equipment code if I wanted to as well. Now, the way that this is meant to work is when someone's creating a rental contract, they might want to set up something like these buckets or attachments for this excavator, and they're talking to the customer about, did you also need to for us to supply the attachments for the excavator, or maybe did you have your own blade for the saw, or did you need the harnesses for the scissor lift, or whatever it might be in that instance? And a lot of the things might be standard and grouped together, but it's just about providing that upsell and providing that information to the customer during that interaction. Now, where this does become really handy is if you ever do go down the path where you want to start pulling some of this information and putting it onto your website so people can actually do rentals online, you can then also pull these associated items. And so when someone's going throughout like a checkout, for example, you can then say, did you also want to rent this while you're renting this? So it sort of gives like another layer to it, but that's obviously about building up your website and using our APIs and pulling that data. So I could go through here and select the items that I want here as well and hit save. And if we just go back to our rental contract now, that will just confirm what I want to deliver. I can skip the delivery for the moment. And we can see here, it's added all the items on there, and it's going to give me a print off of the rental contract as well. But if we just go back to the rental contract screen, we can see how it hasn't grouped them together, but it's added each individual lines, and you might want to keep like a rental rate on each particular one. And then you might want to add in, for example, like a delivery charge, or maybe it's some type of environmental charge, or whatever it might be that you want to add in as that potential additional item as well. Now, another way that we can actually see these associated items is also in the search screen in Baseplan. So if I went to counter and just went to search, let's look up, let's do the same thing. Let's go to Valaris Construction. I'm just going to choose my particular site, and let's type in EXE. There's probably going to be a lot of things that come up here. And if we try and find one of these excavators that I know I got set up, like this one, and I click the drop down, you can see here it pulls through those associated items again. So it's just another way of viewing that information. So if you were working on more of a counter using the rental counter, you can have that same information pulling through as well. Now, they are very similar to packages, but a little bit different. So in another video, I will talk about the different types of rental packages that we have and how they can actually be set up as well. Now, to get these associated items actually configured, you just need to go to the search menu at the top and just type in associated. You can see here, associated items, and let's just hit anything here. And if we scroll through, we should be able to see maybe the excavator that I did have set up. There we go. So you can see here, I can edit this. So you can put in the equipment type. You can go down to a model level as well. And then you basically need to say what the item code is that is also going to be put on there, and whether it's going to be before the rental or potentially after the rental. And also if you wanted to auto add it to a potential rental contract as well. And then you can flag whether it's an inventory item, so it's in your stock, and it might be a non-sales item, might be a sales item, or if it's in your equipment ledger and it's an item that's going to be rented as well. The benefit of doing that, obviously, it's going to expect that to be returned as well, and then you can choose the quantity that's going out. You can see here that someone's already set up some configuration here to show whether this associated item will actually publish online. But again, that's probably another discussion on how you might want to integrate your website with Baseplan to show that information. So hopefully this is just giving you a little bit of an idea on how you can sort of set up that upselling or that better transparency around things that are like between each other or integrated between each other, like the buckets and the excavators. And then you can potentially start setting that up for different various items in your Baseplan database. Well, that's the end of this video. If you do have any questions or ideas on future topics, please leave a comment in the section below, and I hope to see everyone in next week's video.